Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and the new Nigeria is certainly possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending on your time zone. Today, we've come again to have a discussion on the things happening in Nigeria, especially as EFCC has taken over the streets to protest. Not just to protest, but taking even a former minister of power, Maman Sali, to court. And of course, we know what happened, the brouhaha that happened in court. The man slumped, and EFCC agreed for a bail of 10 billion. What we normally see. We have seen people who over fraud allegations go to the Senate and even buy in the Senate. Of course, we have seen people who have gone to court on the pretext that they are sick. At the end of the day, we have seen videos of them when they get back to their house or to their hotel. We've seen them loitering around. But today, we are talking about somebody who goes to court, slumps, and gets bail. That is the kind of EFCC we see. We are going to bring you a new report again by the National Bureau of Statistics that has revealed that Nigerian public officials received not less than $1.3 billion. That is about 721 billion in bribes just of 2023, just 1 year. And of course, we are going to bring you how Bail+Tinubu tells the labor union leaders to cut their coat according to the available size of 62,000 naira minimum wage. And we'll also bring you different things that are happening. But let's get straight to what is even very bothering right now. Nigeria is a country that is one of the greatest net exporters of crude oil in the world. And on the average side, we are also one of the greatest net importers of refined petroleum products in the world. This means that we import the same thing that we produce because we have refused to develop the capacity to refine it. This issue is that it is happening despite the fact that we have 3 government-owned refineries in Nigeria. We have one in Kaduna that has about 660 active staff. We will have one in Port Harcourt that has 507 active staff. And the one in Warri has 437 active staff. Put together, it is around 1,600. And this number takes home 69 billion naira every single year as annual salary without refining a single drop of crude oil in those refineries. And the 69 billion is basic salary. If you add allowances, housing, car allowance, this is even a report that there is even a report that directors are earns more than the chief justices of Nigeria. If you add all the allowances, it will come to around 137 billion for a sector that adds 0 naira to our GDP. If you have your own private company, you will be paying people huge amounts of money to bring zero value to the equation. Nigerian workers are now crying over minimum wage. That is in line with the current economic realities. 250,000. That is what NLC is projecting. You see, the government cannot pay them what they deserve, but we budget so much money for irrelevancies. And at the end of the day, there is very little left for the people that are actually putting in the works. For instance, the office of the First Lady in Nigeria is not constitutionally recognized. Are we saying that it should be scrapped? Of course, we shouldn't be scrapped. We want the First Lady to be relevant. But since Constitution doesn't recognize any role for her, let us leave her to play humanitarian role. Of course, we know she just left for what is the country that she went to, and we know what it entails to be in that very country as far as doing business is concerned. If she is here in Nigeria reaching out to the poor or to the downtrodden or the victims of unseen circumstances, we can understand and pardon that very office. But we still created an office of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, giving different budgets to the ministry and to the office of the First Lady. A single senator again in Nigeria, as we know, is taking home about 52 million annually in allowances, plus basic salary, plus more than 200 million in constituency projects that nobody in the rural areas has seen happening. Local governments are being dilapidated, notwithstanding that the Supreme Court has said money should be sent to them. We see how that goes. And in the last 1 year, what did they do for us? I mean, the senators and the House of Reps was to pass a new national anthem. A new student loan that we don't even know who has collected any money or who has collected any scholarship. They are just saying that millions of students have been empowered. Where is it coming from? Student loan. We have not heard any student said he has gotten any admission and the federal government has paid for it. And to part to this very budget, I think it's time we come together and put the house of our representative together as one house. You know, we try to position them as one house. Somebody has suggested that, because I don't see what they are deliberating differently. They are actually saying the same thing. After all, today they said that they are going to be sending out grains. They are going to be sending trailers of grain. Senators are going to have their own about, is it 5 trailers of grain of food items that House of Rep will be getting 2 trailers and fertilizers. Trailers from senators to this, which never goes to the masses. I think we need to reduce the number of seats. Some of them should go and find work. Anyway, it's so with me to have these very discussions. Of course, usually in the studio I have Okike here and Mercy, plus our well-meaning Nigerians and the Obedience on Zoom.
Good evening, my fellow Obedients worldwide. Welcome to the show.
Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yes, wherever you are joining us from, I know I've spoken so much. It's just how bitter that I am on the condition of Nigeria and Nigerians suffering and smiling, but they need to know. They just need to know what goes wrong. Why would people be saying Kanu Refinery is working, is not working, Warri Refinery is not working, Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and what? Why are the people there being paid billions every year? Who is taking that money? But let me start with our people on Zoom before I come back quickly to the studio here, because I've taken much of their time. Mr. Kini, Mr. Basi, joining us from Calabar Municipal. Please quickly join this conversation. As you know, I've said so much about what is happening in our refineries. I've also mentioned the issue about the man who stole 33 billion naira but had to slump in court and was granted bail. It ends there. We know how this story goes. And of course, other things that I've mentioned. Please do join this very conversation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kanu. Good evening, studio panelists and the Zoom panelists. Good day, everybody across the world listening to us. I'd like to comment by saying that Nigeria is a sorry state. I don't understand why we have to do the things that we are doing. Recall last year we were told that Port Harcourt Refinery will start commence the refining of petroleum products in December. Just as we got into December, it said they had finished mechanical installation of the refinery, but up till today, that refinery is yet to produce a liter of petroleum product, and yet staffs are being paid salary for the past how many years? They are being redundant. They are not doing anything. They are not adding value to the nation's revenue, but rather they are collecting salary on month-to-month basis. They are collecting leave allowance on month-to-month basis. They are collecting all manner of allowances for work they are not doing. Nigeria is a corrupt enterprise. And this is being enhanced by our leaders in the government, our political leaders, because most of the people that are in the refinery are not supposed to be there. They ought to have been laid off. Either they are being redeployed to a functional environment, agencies that they can add value to the system, rather than being redundant for over the years without anything happening. And nobody seems to talk about this. Everybody is keeping quiet. We are acting as if it is normal. It is abnormal for such a thing to happen. It is only in Nigeria you can see this happening. And I'm sorry about this nation, because Nigerians need to wake up, like I've always said. We can't allow these people to take us for a ride. They have taken Nigerians for a ride for so long. We can't allow this criminality to continue. We can't allow this corruption to continue. Now, we just talked about the former minister who was granted bail yesterday. That is a man that was given the opportunity to, develop, enhance our power sector. But nothing happened. To think that such a man, after what he has done was to embezzle over 33 billion, now you are granting him bail for 10 billion, bond bail for 10 billion, because he came and feigned sickness and he was not feeling well. And this is what has been happening. This is a trend, like you said. This is a trend that has been happening. How come when these people are being put under prosecution, the next thing you see is that they are not feeling well? But while they are outside, they are held and hardy. Nothing is happening to them. But the moment they are facing corruption charges, they fall sick. This is a joke. We should be serious about this nation. This is because we have people who are not competent to be in certain position of authority, running the affairs of this nation. Like one of the senators rightly said, that the government is being surrounded by the list of the citizen who knows next to nothing about governance. They are the one running the affairs of the country. And that's a man who is from the ruling party. They know all of this, but yet they continue to take Nigerians for a ride. It is high time we bring this nonsense to a stop, because Nigerians cannot be taken for a ride anymore. So Nigerians, we owe ourselves a duty to take back our nation, except we don't need this, we don't want this nation anymore. Otherwise, we have a duty to protect and ensure that we reclaim back our nation. Thank you so much. I would like to end. I'll stop at this point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bassi. As you know, outside of what just happened that you explained in court about this Maman Saleh, who obviously tricked the courts or tricked EFCC, I also want to bring it to your attention by the National Bureau of Statistics estimate that the highest bribe takers in Nigeria is our judiciary. And if we have this coming out from our own National Bureau of Statistics, that judges top the list of bribe recipients in Nigeria, Lord K, please tell us where you think we are headed. If where they said is the last hope of the common man happens to be the place that is highly, oh my God, I don't even know how to place this. Lord K, please tell me what you think about judicial. This is coming. I just want you to know that this is from the National Bureau of Statistics, meaning that this is an authentic information that Nigeria judiciary is the highest recipient of corrupt bribe money as far as Nigeria is concerned. Lord K, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, studio panelists, Zoom participants, and fellow obedients around the world. Thank you for listening and tuning in one more time again. Yes, I believe Mr. Kinney actually dealt with this issue, at a very good rate. But I want to add to that as well, because at the end of the day, if in a country where there is no separation of power, a country where there is no democracy, a country where you practice anything and whatever comes to your mind, everybody has to fend for themselves. Now, these statistics actually came out from the National Bureau of Statistics about the judges actually being the highest paid or the highest recipient of bribery in a nation called Nigeria, quoting about $1.3 billion. That is something of major concern. That is something of major concern. We all understood or saw what happened during the election just gone past. How these judges actually flipped the country into the chaos we are right now. Because if they had come out with the right judgment, things would have been a different thing right now. But for the money they were receiving, traveling to London, pretending to be on wheelchair and going to meet whomsoever in London, here, in France, collecting money around. We all know what happened. So, this is the official figure that came up with $1.3 billion. I'm pretty sure it's well over that. It's well over that. So, if the judiciary system is corrupt, who else can the ordinary man run to? Who else can the ordinary man run to? Nobody. They have been bought over. And that is something everybody knows, and that cannot change. Whatever is happening in the country now, the ruling party have the infantry to tell you, go to court, because they know that the court is on their side. They receive dollars and naira fluently. So what are we talking about? On the aspect of the minister that actually went to the Senate and collapsed there, that's something that's of normal practice right now. But unfortunately, one did not actually prepare himself properly. He collapsed and died.
Minute. Let me give you what is on the screen. Just a minute, Mr. Loke. You see, the judges on the subject you just finished, the judges and magistrates gets the highest bribe taking. Then we have customs and immigration service following them. Then we have members of the armed forces. Then we have land registry officers. Then we have the police officers. These are the leaders in Nigeria. I want you to let our people understand the fact that if these things, especially judges, magistrates, are not being addressed and the police issue not being addressed, how can they, the citizens of this country, move forward? We need to demand for a complete reform of the judge of the judiciary system in Nigeria and of the police force, not just
Absolutely, there should be a total change. But where is it going to start from? Who is going to initiate it? How is it going to start? Is it when you have a corrupt head that will want to correct the bottom? It's not possible. There has to be a change from the top that will now trickle down. That is just a simple secret behind that. The head is corrupt. The judicial system is corrupt. The parliamentary system is corrupt. The armed forces are corrupt. Everything about the country, about the nation, everything of power there, they are all in the same level. Corruption.
And the NLC is also corrupt. Please
NLC
do
has
add to
joined them
the
as
fact
well.
that they went to meet with Chief Bail+Tinubu just yesterday. They came out, they asked the reporters to go so that they can have a closed meeting. And after their meeting, they all came out and said that they did not go to negotiate the workers' salary, the minimum wage that has been existing since January, that they went to have a discussion. In other words, they went to eat jollof rice and salad at the villa.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, that is my concern now with what the NLC and TUC are actually dealing with. Because I heard him yesterday, after coming out, he said, well, it's a father and son negotiation they went for. Is that what the country is expecting you to go and deal with? Is that what you went there for? To go and talk about father and son matter? What father and son matter are you dealing with? Who sent you that kind of errand? Is that what you want to come back to report to the nation? I know they have been compromised already, because now the Senate, they are deciding and bringing out everything they want to, I mean, whatever expenses or whatever they want to pass. But the main issue concerning the nation, concerning the citizens of the country, minimum wage, that has not yet been dealt with, is still lingering there. And NLC, they've got the infantry to say, yes, they are actually going to Aso Rock to go and negotiate father and son talk. What kind of nonsense is that? Absolute stupidity.
And do you know what is even disturbing, Mr. Lord K? Do you know what is disturbing? The fact that the people who are supposed to tell the Chief Bail+Tinubu to listen to Nigerians, they are saying that they don't have access to him. If they don't have access to him and they are going to communicate that in a national TV, Nigeria is doomed. Let's even take a listen before we continue. Let's hear how Senator Ndume was clear on a national TV that even Buhari is better than Chief Bail+Tinubu as far as listening to the issues that are happening in Nigeria is concerned. Let's take a listen.
The president before now, then you know that the whole scenario has changed. This is somebody, he stays in Lagos. If you go to Bodilon, anytime, any day, anytime in the night, you can go to Bodilon 2 o'clock. And in most cases, you find President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know, receiving people in and out. If you come to where he stays in Abuja here, Lagos, in the Lagos house, you will know from when you take a turn whether he's in town or not, any time of the day. There are times you can go there 3 in the night and you'll meet him there. But now, if you go to Villa, the front of Villa, it's like a graveyard because they don't allow anybody to go and see Mr. President.
Well, let me take you up on that, because you suggested that the government or the presidency, indeed the presidency specifically, has adopted a closed-door policy, and that even ministers and members of the National Assembly, presumably like yourself, are struggling to engage with the president. I mean, that sounds pretty serious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems, but that is the truth. The only thing, you know, the news media put certain things not exactly the way. So now that I'm talking to you, hear it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely.
In every government, it's like that. You have the gatekeepers. Those who want the president to know everything and to have other opinions would even encourage those that matter in the government to come over because, during Buhari's administration, which I thought was not that good. But if you compare this now to Buhari's regime, you will give Buhari a thumbs up. Because
well, some would say that would be rather difficult to do.
You know, because at least he opens up, people come to see him. I'm quoting, you quote me, and if it's not true, I don't speak just like that.
Right.
There are some ministers don't have access to Mr. President. The only access they have to Mr. President is when they are maybe invited, and some may not be invited, or when they go for council meeting. And you know, when they go for council, by the time the president goes in, all of them are seated. And the president is the first person to leave. You can't say, oh, I want to, no, that is it. There is a procedure. And then the SGF, who is supposed to be the clearinghouse, I don't know about, I've not seen him most lately. But I'm telling you, Charles, I won't come to the TV or even in private lie.
So have you had a challenge in seeing the president yourself personally?
Well, let me tell you one thing. The president severally, if we meet in the public, he will say, Chief Ndume, why are you not coming? Why am I? And I said, no, Mr. President, when you look for me, I'll be there.
Did you say to him, well, he's not allowing me to come in?
I said it once to one of his staff, that they are the people that are keeping us out of this place. And so I will not struggle to come and see Mr. President, but I have an obligation to speak for the people, or speak for my people, or speak as a senator. You can imagine I am the chief whip. If a chief whip cannot have access to Mr. President, the new senators, of course.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, let me tell you. And let me tell you in difference to it. Obasanjo started, during his government, in 24 hours, if any senator wants to see him, nobody will ask him what.
If the chief whip of the Senate is unable to see and speak with Chief Bail+Tinubu, who then will he be listening to? Lord K, please, I just make sure that you get abreast of this information. We talked about it yesterday, but hearing from the horse's mouth, like he said, is the best thing sometimes, that let the people also see that even people who should have access to Chief Bail+Tinubu are not having access to him, to tell him how Nigerians are suffering at this very point, because he flies in, flies back, he doesn't drive around to see people littering the street, who are even falling as they are walking the street because of hunger.
That's not strange anymore, because in the first place, this is a man that came into power not even knowing that he was going to get there. He never prepared himself. He did not have a plan, and he's not even having a plan right now, and will not have a plan when he's leaving. Now, at the end of the day, these people he has put around himself there now, I mean, they are all of the same intelligence, in the sense that they don't have a plan as well. They don't know what they're doing there in government. He has surrounded himself with with what he thought would help him, but they are finding out now that, things are not what it's supposed to be.
They haven't found out.
Yeah, he's coming out. He's coming out now to complain, because probably there's something, happening that it's too late for him to report, because they are all preparing themselves for whatever has happened in Kenya that is going to explode in Nigeria. So they are coming on air now to defend themselves, to say, "Oh, exonerate me, leave me out of this." That's why they're coming up with all these excuses. They know right from time that the president of their country is not who he's supposed to be. He doesn't have the intellectuals. He doesn't have the skills. All he has to do is to run away. Running away. He cannot stand on the spot to give you any reasonable decision. He has to consult with whomsoever he's consulting with, that will mislead him and come back. All the decisions this man has taken for the past 1 year right now, name one that has benefited the country. None. None. Not a single one. But yet he sat there as the president of Nigeria.
Okay. All right, okay. Let's take this to Tony. Mr. Tony, are you joining us from Enugu, the coast city? I want to bring this very issue that boils down on the Obidient Family Cooperative Society's access to fertilizers in their rural areas. They need to, follow bumper to bumper from senators to the House of Reps and all that. But let me bring it to your attention, if you are not aware, that the Senate President, which is Senator Goswell Akpabio, has addressed the pressing issue of food insecurity and market exploitation of consumables during a Senate session. That we got the video that just came out, where Senator Akpabio announced significant measures aimed at addressing agricultural challenges across the country. He revealed that all state governors, regardless of their political affiliation, will receive a substantial supply of fertilizer to aid in agricultural productivity. As you recall, we are talking about the needs of fertilizer for Yala local government, and of course, the one of Niger coming from due process. Now, according to a report that's about what happened with Senator Akpabio disclosure, that the initiative was communicated to the Senate Committee Chairman on Agriculture. He said each state governor will receive at least 60 trucks of fertilizer. So I need you to note this down. 60 trucks of fertilizer for governors, demonstrating a nationwide effort to boost food production to ensure equitable distribution. Says senators will receive 2 trucks of fertilizers, equating to about 1,200 bags, if that is the bagging system that I know of. And members of the House of Representatives will receive 1 truck, or let's call it about 600 bags. That is what these trucks contain. This distribution plan is intended, according to them, to allow senators and House of Representatives to support their constituencies effectively. Of course, Tony, let's get to your own side of the story. Please make sure that our own cooperative, the Obidient family cooperatives across the country knows that governors are looking at about 60 trucks, and while senators have how many trucks? Of course, I'm giving you those details. But tell us your take on all of this.
Welcome, listeners, and thank you for joining us this evening. The fact of the matter, really, just like you said, Nigeria, the talk of things happening in Nigeria really makes you real mad. It sends your head spinning because virtually nothing is going right. You're talking about the fertilizers. 60 trucks per senator or per state. That is a lot, but actually it's not a lot. You see, what they are doing right now, what this administration, this federal government is doing right now, like I said before, it's like they're in the kitchen, that throwing everything on the wall, Gary, beans, pepper, oil, and see which one will stick to the wall. There is no coherent formulation of a long-term policy, even a short-term policy, or even a medium-term policy. They should have anticipated what is going on now when they took the initial policy of removing fuel subsidy, tinkering with the exchange rate, Naira dollar exchange rate. They never thought about this. They just made the president just made a pronouncement, and then look at the fallout. Even the Senate members are now scared to their bones because of what happened in Kenya. They are now scampering about, trying to find a way to defend themselves, to say, well, this is our own opinion. This is what we think should happen. The Senate itself could have sat down and formulate a coherent action plan to help the executive if they don't know what they're doing. Come up with their own plan to help their citizens. You give them 60 trailers of fertilizer. How is it going to be distributed? How is it going to go down to the local governments and to the farmers?
Thank you.
What plan for that? Tell us. What plan do you have? Is not just announcing we're going to send 60 trucks to each state. That has been the problem. You announced that, you just mentioned, Kanu, that they said they're going to give scholarships. Has anybody heard about a student who has actually received the scholarship. This is Nigeria for you. This is Nigeria for you. And what I will advise Obedience, the cooperative societies, is to follow their elected officials, bumper to bumper. Ask them about the fertilizers. Follow them bumper to bumper. Don't give them leeway. Make sure you get your own share, even if it's 1 bag or 2 bags. You are entitled to get a share of that fertilizer because you have been constituted as a legalized body to participate in this scheme. You are actually the productive arm of the Obidient movement. So, pursue it, go after it, grab it, and then take it down to the rural area, to the farmers, and let them use it. So that's all I'm going to say about the fertilizer. On the issue of... Is my time up?
Go ahead.
Okay. On the issue of the ex-minister that collapsed in front of the courthouse, is the pattern. Is the pattern. He is so lucky that he was even given a bail. There was one person that wasn't given a bail a couple of years back, even when he feigned sickness. Whether he was actually sick or not, but he feigned sickness, they refused to give him bail. But this one, $33 billion. That's easy to come up with 10 billion. I'm sure he must have saved part of that money somewhere.
Absolutely.
So it would be easy for him to get bail. The EFCC itself, yesterday was African Union's corruption day, which I can't figure out exactly what they mean, since most of their leaders are corrupt. Anyway, so the man is talking, the chairman of the EFCC is talking like somebody who has come to do work, but his hands are tied behind his back. There are people, high-ups, who are controlling what is going on. Tell me, Buhari was petroleum minister. What was his resume? What was his expertise to become the petroleum minister? And Tinubu turned around and did the same thing. Why? What are they trying to cover up? What are they protecting? What are they hiding? What are they after? Those are if Nigerians could be educated properly on what is going on in this Nigeria, there will be a civilian coup. There will be an instant revolution. But people are hungry. They are just scampering, trying to feed their families. So they don't have all the time to get all the detailed information of the disaster that is happening in this country. If they do, we're not going to be here talking about going out to the street. They will themselves say enough is enough. And enough should be enough. Yeah. Enough is enough.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Tony. Let's quickly come back to the studio and look at the issue first before we get our body, who is going to talk on all the things that we have spoken about here. But let's come back to studio here now and talk more about this minimum wage as it affects the average Nigerian right now, having that very issue about going to meet Chief Bail+Tinubu, at the end of the day finding out that Chief Bail+Tinubu just hosted them to dinner and then they all left. Let's first hear from them before we now talk about it very quickly. Let's take a listen to what the NLC and the TUC has to tell Nigerians as they exit the Aso Rock Villa. Just yesterday, having discussion, went to eat jollof rice, salad, enjoy themselves, come out, tell Nigerians that they did not go to negotiate the money that is the issue, that they went to discuss, have a chat with the president, with their president, you know, having a chat about that. Let's have your thought while we try to get that very video.
Oh, what type of issue are they having except the discussion of
the minimum wage? The
minimum wage.
That's what they are supposed to be at the villa for.
What other discussion will NLC be having with President Tinubu?
Chief Bail+Tinubu.
It doesn't make any conclusive sense. If they are having closed doors meeting with him that is not related to this increment of minimum wage, it should not be done. It's not necessary. This is the issue on the table and it should be addressed first.
Yes. I think that is a very, very conclusive thing. And if we have that very video from this, let's take your take first.
Well, I will tell you that a lot of things have actually gone wrong. Because if people that are actually supposed to speak for the rest...
Did they go there to get an appointment? As, maybe you know that there is a new Ministry of Cow Affairs, Cow Development, which is, they call it livestock per se. But maybe they want to get nominated to the office of as a minister to minister under Cow Ministry. If not, if it is about the workers and the minimum wage, I think that should be the discussion on the table. And like Okike said, they have no business being in that villa except to discuss the mandate of the Nigerian workers.
Of course, there is nothing making sense coming back to tell us that instead of the negotiation that you went for a conversation. There is nothing making sense about it. It means that even the people that are supposed to speak for the rest, they are now even joining, you know, the rest of them in order to make things even more worse. It has gone really bad. You know, it has gone really bad to the extent that even Nigerian students, everybody now have to add extra year. That is for ASU strike. And it's like they are enjoying this every year.
Now I'm talking about the student thing myself. There is this student loan for academics for people to pay their tuitions and all of that. And each time they come out to television to talk about it, they say that millions of Nigerians are benefiting from that. But we have not seen anybody who said that he has gotten any form of funds to pay for their tuition. None. To the best of my knowledge, I have not really seen anyone. Okay, what about the 177 youths that were trained with 5-point-something billion on repairing of smartphones? Where are they? When are we going to stand up? When are Nigerians going to stand and demand for accountability? With peaceful protest, we can actually achieve that. We should know that protesting peacefully is part of our fundamental rights, and we must do it in order to get whatever we want. You know, it's already very bad, and we'll keep on encouraging Nigerians to come out for us to protest peacefully in order to get this mandate we want. All right, thank you very much. Okay, getting back to what you just mentioned about, you know, simply that these people don't have any other business going to the villa other than to discuss the minimum wage and come out and tell the Nigerian workers. Don't you think that they are taking Nigerian workers for granted? And on the flip side, the Nigerian workers who they are negotiating on their behalf are not seeing the picture being painted on the wall that these people are not acting for the interest of Nigerians, because for so long they have not gotten these things done. So many things has gone to the Senate for passage as immediate as possible, but for the workers' salaries, that has it, and they are still going to work. Why they can't just not even protest like Mercy is saying, but stay at home, don't go to work? What happens?
It's very obvious that the Nigerian government takes NLC as a whole organization as a joke. There's no reason people will come together and tell you, over and over and over again that this minimum wage is not enough for them, and they meet you multiple times and it still doesn't result to anything, except the fact that they take them for granted. Or the people that lead this NLC, what do they discuss in this closed door meeting? What do they have to do after the meeting?
Nigerian workers don't have to know what is discussed at the closed door meeting.
Yes.
Meanwhile, they are the ones leading the Nigerian workers. What I'm saying is, don't you think that the Nigerian workers are actually adding these issues lingering? They are adding it. Rather, they are not doing anything to making it to come out faster, because they are just being quiet.
Oh, it's obvious that the Nigerian workers are adding to it, because it's very easy for you to say, oh, if I'm not being paid enough, I'm not going to work. If I'm not going to be paid enough, I'd rather stay at home. But, we stay in Nigeria where everybody's comfortable with mediocrity. So it's very okay for them to say, oh, let's just manage. There are people working on it. We trust the NLC leaders, even though they have not showed us any result. It's very easy for Nigerians to believe that than to put in the efforts it takes to protest and get what they want.
Wow. Okay, let's quickly get back to Elder Obode. Elder Obode, please quickly, can you tell us, we've discussed so many things, of course, Tinubu telling the labor unions to cut their coat according to their available cloth size, and of course they are doing that. And then we also have the federal government who announced that there's 150-day duty-free import window for commodities. And of course, these very commodities, we don't see how it's going to help Nigerians. We are not seeing them importing tractors to help the farmers in Nigeria. We are not seeing them dealing with the insecurity that is driving the farmers out of their farmlands. I don't know how the importation window that they are talking about is going to help curb inflation. Elder Obode.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Obedience, wherever you are, and good evening, studio, and people on the Zoom. It's not surprising. It's not surprising. Tinubu didn't tell you he was going to do anything for you. So we keep banging on it. And who is the president of the NLC anyway?
Ajero.
Ajero, who is that?
Well, he's the one acting for them. He's their president. So every time he goes to eat salad and jollof rice in the villa and come out to tell Nigerians bullshit.
Does he understand what governance of the labor, the movement, the labor, organization, which it is? If he understands that, then he knows. In fact, I don't even know who the members of the Labor Congress, who they are, because by now Abure, whatever he's called, should have moved on. He should have been sacked. And
Abure happens to be
the
national chairman of the Labour party, but we're talking about Joe Ajero, who is the president of the labor unions. That is
okay. Joe Ajero. Okay, yes. I'm sorry. Did I mention Abure?
Yeah, of course you did.
Okay, they sound the same, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do, Elder. Go ahead.
Because they're the same people, aren't they? They're the same people. Yes. Yeah, they are just okay. They go to the president's what do you call it?
Villa,
Abuja, whatever residence, and they eat what's it called? Rice and jollof rice and salad and chicken, and they go back, and say, "Oh, thanks Lord, I'm good today." Maybe they get a few dollars as well, and they go back and say, "Oh, we just had a chat with the president."
I think the best thing is I think he needs some soft touch again, because you remember the last time they touched him, he came back with some sense. You understand? He came back with some sense after that period. But then I think after the healing of the wound and everything, is gone back into his normal nonsense again. So he needs some touch.
So Mr. Jero and all the members of the executive of the NLC should all go home and go to their mothers, you know. Go and look after their mothers, because they don't even have anything to offer the workers of Nigeria. And I don't know what the workers are doing. Why can't they mobilize and sack these people? Mobilize and sack them, because they're not working for you. They are not working for you. Nobody's going to do it for you.
Hello, so, Mr. Kanu.
Yes, sorry, Reverend Peter, I'm talking at the moment. So that is that for the Labour Congress. It should be dissolved because they are no use. Then the second thing is about this fertilizer. I think we have to inform all our members, you know, the local government cooperatives, about this fertilizer, because we should have some, if there's any, being distributed by the. In fact, maybe by the time it gets to the governor,
the governors have about 60 trucks of these fertilizers, and then the senators has 2 trucks on each, and the House of Reps has about 1 truck each, and this should be a very significant number.
That's significant, yes.
Well appropriated, going into states and local governments, and of course to the constituencies. So, like you said, we should, you know, follow it up, especially with the Obidient family cooperative societies who are desirous of having fertilizers, like the president of Yala local government, Mrs. Mary Okon, and Christian Ako of Niger State, which are basically the people who are farming right now. And of course, we have several local governments that are into this very farming. Quickly round up, Elder Statesman, because our time don't they give us signal.
Okay, so this is the point. We should get information from the different governors, whatever they have, because we need to know about them, and alert our cooperatives to apply for these fertilizers, because we are the people who are in the know of this agricultural program. Then we should be using these fertilizers as we see fit.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Elder Statesman. Let's quickly take Reverend, who just came in very late, but just have very few minutes, please, left for us here. So I might be giving you 2 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. I did not just come in, I'll be here.
Oh, okay. I didn't see you from the end, you know, being live on the studio. Yeah. I'm not able to see all that, but please go ahead.
Yeah, the problem is this. You see, you cannot lay foundation with sand, and you want to build blocks of cement on top, because it's going to collapse, because the blocks will be more solid, and they are going to overcome the sand. Now, if somebody is talking about who is going to call who to order, who is going to discipline who? A thief cannot tell a thief that I am going to report to you.
To another thief.
The problem in Nigeria is that the
increase in cost of food price
go down. And so, even every of the members of the government, they know what is happening in the government. But if me and you are blowing the same rope and the same trouble hold us, then how can I tell you, okay, leave me, because I want to come out. And when I come out, I said, look, you have to stay there. I'm going to tell about you. Who will tell about who? Because you are part of it, I am part of it. We both of us are corrupt. The government cannot change the situation except the people change the government. That is the only simple thing that is there. Because this story has been for years. Tell me, why do you think there is no changes? It's because you were thieves yesterday and you left. And so today I become a thief. Then you that were thieves yesterday, you cannot say you are going to discipline me today. Or me that is today. I said I was going to discipline you that stole yesterday. Whereas myself, I am stealing. So the thing is difficult. If you look at, okay, tell me, what is the business if we have to go by the rules of governance? Look, Akpabio has no business in being a president of the assembly. It's not. So when you look at the component of the government, in fact, when this man came into power, there is a woman he appointed. I've forgotten the position he gave to the woman now. That woman said no. The woman rejected the position. And it came to Arise News. Channel TV. They were interviewing her. And I said, why should you reject the president? He said, because when the president was protesting, he asked the president, before the election, he asked the president, what is your blueprint? He said, let me tell you the truth, he has none. So then how do you come into the government and you want to conduct the affairs of the government when you don't have blueprint? It's like somebody who want to build a house, there is no plan. You are asking bricklayers to come and begin to dig the ground. What are we going to build one flat? Is it going to be an upstairs? Is it going to be so? That is exactly what is happening in the government. And so this thing has happened for a time because they know that they were unable to reach out to reach out to the people. And so they use the court. And somebody was talking about look at the judgment that is coming out from the court. Look at the orders. The court that were supposed to be now, how can they not be the most corrupt? The corruption bring them in. So how are they going to? Is it the man that gives them money to give him judgment? Is it the same man that they are going to tell is corrupt?
That cannot.
You're correct.
What are we talking about?
That cannot happen.
You're very correct.
Yes,
because when we look at it from the side of even the INEC chairman still presiding over INEC,
exactly,
and conducting elections across Nigeria, but the where all of this boils down to is the fact that Nigerians are just resistant. They have put in the armor within them to withstand whatever is pushed to them. Even the former governor of Rivers State, not Wike, had said in an open forum before that Nigerians...
He said whatever you go to Nigeria, yeah? Yeah?
Yes, whatever
that's Amechi. Governor Amechi.
Yes, Amechi, yes.
Yeah.
So we understand. We'll be talking more about all of this tomorrow because our time is really up. And from the studio here, the production team, I thank you so much for the extra time that you have given us. I want to thank all our people on Zoom and, of course, the people in the studio who have made their contributions. Thank you so much for your time today and all our deliberations. Tomorrow, we'll be talking more on several things that are going wrong in this administration and trying to see how we can be able to bring more sanity coming to the governance in Nigeria. Until tomorrow, bye for now.